now that I got all those cables in, now I'm ready to go ahead and stop putting a couple of consoles at a time in here. I don't want to just throw them all in there, then I gotta pull this thing out. I'm trying to not have to pull this thing out as much as possible.
Giggity.
And also that I'm gonna do a couple consoles at a time. If I don't like the configuration, I'm going to go back and fix them, but at least the cables are there and I know they're connected. So that's my main goal right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by putting in the old Xbox, the original. As you can see, this guy is a little dirty. He's gonna get cleaned. My main focus at the moment is going to put them all in the area where the consoles are gonna be going. So that is the main focus. They're gonna be getting cleaned one by one, believe me when I tell you. But right now it's just gonna be like this. Alright, so now I'm gonna put my Xbox 360. Alright, so now my next thing is going to be my other Xbox. So here it is right here, my Xbox One. This is the S, I think? Yeah, Xbox One S. Alright, so what I ended up picking up was this. It is one of those CCTV power camera splitters. So basically you have one power supply split into like how many you need it for. So that's what I end up getting here. Since all these video splitters, whatever you want to call them, selectors, they all take the same 12 volt 1 amp power supply. So what I want to do, instead of having 4 separate ones constantly juicing, I bought this splitter that's going to split that 12 volt 1 amp into 4 connections. So since basically I'm only going to have one of these on at a time as I'm playing a unit, so whatever console I decide to play, that's going to be the selector that's going to be on. There's no need to have 4 of them constantly sucking juice. So I bought this piece here so I could split it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug them into the back, and then I'm going to plug the power supply right into it. Now they're all juiced up. So that's all set now. As you can see here, all the red lights are on. So now whatever one I decide to use is be the one that will be sucking in power. What I'm doing, since there is a HD CP, which is the high definition copyright protection. So what happens is with the new consoles, the new DVD players, everything like that, the Rokos, the Fire Stick stuff, all that stuff has a copy protection so you can't duplicate the signal. So what happens is, since these things came out before that whole copyright protection crap came out, I can't actually run it straight to the TV without having interference. The older consoles with HDMI should work, but I can't even get the Xbox 360 to work. So what I'm doing is I'm running the signals in here, I'm selecting it. I have 4 separate signals on this I/O gear that I bought. It's HD splitter. So the interesting thing about this, I bought this for under $10 on Newegg.com about 8 years ago. Super cheap. Now when I check on eBay, they're selling for $100 and something a piece. So there is something going on with this thing that I just don't know about. But either way, basically I'm running everything through the HDMI selectors on the top ones, and these are the RCA connector video and the component video and composite. So what I'm running is the signal going into this is actually coming from the box through this to the I/O gear HDMI selector, and it's cleaning the signal, verifying it, and then sending it to the TV so there's no interference. So since this receiver does not have HDMI selector built into it, I can't clean the signal with it because it doesn't have that option. So basically, in order for me to continue using my selectors without having to go and buy a bunch of small ones like this, I can just have the first box will be 1, the second box would be 2, and 3 and 4 I can use for like my DVD player, and I don't know what the 4th one will be for. But at least now I'll know. I'll have to just select it. That's just the world we live in. So now the next consoles I'm going to end up putting is most likely going to be the PlayStations. The first thing I want to do is I want to go out, take the measurements, and stop putting these splitters in. The reason I can't just throw the consoles in is I have to have it, I'm trying to use as much of the room as I can. So let's take some measurements. So if you guys saw one of my first unboxings, I actually showed this off. This is that splitter that I'm using to clean the signal, so as it goes to my TV, just because that's the only real option that I have and the more affordable option. It is a little bit more of a pain in the ass, but at the same time I'm not going to go out and spend $150 on another receiver just so I can clean the signal. The next step we're going to do is I'm going to measure this this area so I can start cutting these to put in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 1 to split this part, and then I'm going to measure from here to here going across to put like 3 consoles together. This will be screwed into the side one that goes like this. So from the top to the bottom, 17 3/4 from top to bottom. 15 and a half. So from left to right will be 15 and a half. So now that I took the measurements from the top to the bottom where it's going to split the vertical consoles, so I'm going to go out and I'm going to start cutting this. Alright, so now that I already cut the wood, attach these to the side panel like this. It would be a lot easier for me to do that like this rather than having to screw it in from the other side. So this way it would be fitted, and then I just have to take the measurements, the holes on the ends to hold and secure it. So on this part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some Gorilla Glue here, and I'm also going to add some Gorilla Glue in the bottom. And it's all it really needs. The more important thing is that the sides are secure, because you don't want the consoles to be falling on top of each other. What I want to try to do is I want to separate the consoles as best as possible. Got my first console, so there should be enough room for me to add. Every 4 inches I will add a shelf. First one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this bit out. As you can see here, I put this part in. This will be where the 360 will go, and then the other consoles here. So the next thing I want to do is I want to level everything before I start screwing it in through this side, which I will make pre-holes first, and then I will start putting the screws in. Okay, Google. Okay, so now that the console shelves are in place, right now I have enough room here for my PlayStation 3, my Xbox S, and my original Xbox. Alright, so the original Xbox has got this lift right here on the bottom, the rubber feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove them to help me fit my console to the bottom shelf, was where I want it to. So by doing that, I'm going to just remove all 4 of these feet. So what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to put my router that I bought, I'm going to make a hole in the back. Alright, so I ended up grabbing my router. It's only 8 port, so I'm hoping that I don't need more than 7.
Oh my god, it feels good when that happens.
I am a prodigy, I am a leader, they follow